cryptocurrencies brought the technology into sort of the forefront, but I think more people are finding, reasons to use blockchains. And I feel like when I look at a lot of these cryptocurrencies, we've talked about Bitcoin. There are all kinds of different ones. And you mentioned the proof of work. Can you explain proof of stake? Because I think that has a lot more relation to when it comes to other use for blockchains for information contracts and things like that.
Sure. So you bring up a good point, and that's that currency was just the first application of blockchain technology. And having this decentralized, trustless public ledger that's immutable, meaning you can't go back and change it, that really creates a lot of opportunities. And having a digital identity is one of them. Now, I'm an anti-authoritarian guy, and I'm very keen on privacy rights, and I'm very well aware that there are some not good actors that are trying to use blockchain and just use technology in general to track, trace, surveil anything that they can. They're like control freaks. So there are efforts to create like a global digital identity, for example. But like you said, with cryptocurrency, with blockchain specifically, you can create these identities that you have control over that aren't issued or can't be taken away, for example. Like it can't be revoked by some central party, right? And if there's a bunch of doctors or medical professionals or an entire industry that agrees on certain standards and those standards are coded in a blockchain, then it really helps to overcome some of that corruption or some of those errors that may take place. So there's different ways to prove the validity of transactions and information that takes place on a blockchain. And if you notice earlier, I said, I always like to bring up that it's a way to transfer information because there are multiple different applications. And in the case of a cryptocurrency, money, what's being transferred, the information being transferred is who has what little unit or token or bit of money,
Sure.
right? But you can transfer all sorts of different information as well, like you pointed out with the IDs. So in order to confirm what information is being transferred, in order to confirm if it's valid or not, there's what's called consensus mechanisms. And different consensus mechanisms exist for different cryptocurrencies. One of them is proof of work. That was the first one for Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, whoever there's all this computing power, and that's what you're proving. You're proving that you do this work in the form of solving a digital puzzle. And so people are competing, expending mass amounts of computing power to see who could solve this really complex puzzle. Whoever solves the complex puzzle first, they then go through the history of the transactions that take place, and they cross-reference the current set of transactions that just took place in the previous 10 minutes. They cross-reference all of those with the transactions in the previous block, with the transactions in the previous block, and the previous block to make sure each one was achieved legitimately, right? So that's proof of work. You got to work with computers, and it takes a lot of computing power. Elon Musk recently was critical of this, causing the price of Bitcoin to tank quite a bit. Turns out that it's actually more sustainable than a lot of people would have you think. And a significant number of these mining computers use green energy. So that's proof of work, but something that's becoming more popular because it kind of levels the playing fields in some ways, and it is more environmentally friendly, is what's called proof of stake. And so instead of running computers and competing, solving these problems, you simply take your cryptocurrency and you stake that cryptocurrency. You kind of lock it in. And the way that they choose who gets to solve the next block is whoever has the most cryptocurrency staked, they have the greatest chance of being selected to solve that next block by going through the history of the transactions. So that's what's known as proof of stake. It just works a little bit differently. It's less energy intensive. It's still kind of tilts the playing field to those folks that are holding more of the cryptocurrency. But for people that are wanting to invest in cryptocurrency, proof of stake is a great investment opportunity because let's say you invest $1,000 or $10,000 worth of a given cryptocurrency. Some of them, when it comes to the rewards that you get for just holding that cryptocurrency, are 2.5%, 5%, upwards of 8.5%. So it's a great way. You just get a wallet like Exodus, you mentioned before. You set your cryptocurrency aside. I like Cardano. It's a really popular cryptocurrency. We can talk about some of the different ones in a little bit. And then you basically just lock it in, you kind of set it and forget it. And then you're earning 5% APY, and that all compounds. So it's just a really simple way. And it's all decentralized too. It's not a bank that's paying you interest. You're not getting interest from other people's deposits. It's just created. That's how the money is generated. That's how the new money is created.